Hello and welcome to Great Whale Investing. I'm Alex and I am going to be talking to you today about Magic the Gathering cards and Bitcoin, correlation between them, and the similarities that I see between them, and how am planning on investing in the future. So, I'm not really an expert on Bitcoin per se. I've definitely been doing a lot more research into it in the last few years. I'm definitely what I would consider an expert in Magic the Gathering, Magic Finance, and all that stuff. I've been doing that for quite a while. And one of the most appealing things to me about Bitcoin was the value proposition of it, that it is a store of value, that is a long term asset that is scarce. There will not be more of it. Sounds similar to the reserve list. And that it's not rooted in its utility, more in so that it's rooted in its promise of scarcity. So, for instance, there's a bunch of Magic cards on the reserve list that are not good. Like we're looking at like Pyramids, Island of Whack Whack. There's a lot of Elephant Graveyard. Like there's a lot of cards on the reserve list that suck. They're really bad. I mean, Sorrow's Path might be the worst card ever made in Magic, and it's $20. So why? You can't use them. Not even EDH decks play them. So they have no use to you except that they're scarce and cool looking. Like is similar to Bitcoin. Bitcoin can be taxed. It can be regulated. It could be, there could be other more usable cryptocurrencies that for transactions. I can't imagine us using Bitcoin at Walmart in the future, but it's not really about that. That's not the point. And people seem to like miss that a lot. People seem to grab onto things that they understand. And a lot of times people don't really understand like like investing, for the long term. They want short term rewards. They want to see the short term, refresh the page. Did it go up? Did it go down? Did I lose my money? Did I make money? They those gut reactions, that wow moment, when you watch the World Series of Poker, they just skip to the highlights. They just show you like, here's the cards, here we go. What card was it? Oh, he hit the card on the river. Oh, bad. But like, nobody wants to sit there and do the like, oh well, his odds were this, and he played it like this because of the fact that earlier the guy at the table was very playing loose. They don't talk about that stuff because people just want that gratification. Okay, that's why TikTok videos are very short. That's why it's a short attention span. That's why I usually cut these videos down to like 10 minutes so that you can like get a few minutes, maybe skip it or get through it really fast. Put me on 1.5 speed so I go really fast so you can hear everything I say. But it's more so that like people have a very short attention span in general, and that also comes with like the instant gratification. If you want groceries at your door, boom, they get delivered to your door. Everyone wants the instant gratification. They want to see the instant profit. They want to think that if they buy Bitcoin today, that in a week it'll be more. It's like, where's my car? I don't know if there's like a meme that's like, where am I rich? When am I getting rich? It doesn't really work that way, especially with long-term investing. Now there is day trading. You could day trade Bitcoin, you could day trade stocks, and you can, do a lot of research and, put the hours into it and predict swings, predict the chart, where it'll go, where it'll be at the end of the day, all that stuff. It's totally doable, but when it comes to Bitcoin, I think it's more of a long-term thing. It's you buy it, when they say people like, okay, buy it, throw it in the closet and forget about it. Okay, same thing with Magic sealed product. You just buy it, throw it in the closet, forget you have it. And for Magic sealed product, you should definitely throw it in the closet because the more you have it on the shelves, the more you're like, oh, could be a Gaia's Cradle in there, could be a masterpiece, So you really have to have, conviction, and you have to have the long term investing in mind. It's that whole experiment they do on young children where they give them like the marshmallow in front of them and they're like, all right, if you don't eat the marshmallow after 10 minutes, we're going to give you 5 marshmallows, and then there's just like varying degrees of people's like restraint on whether they can like delay that gratification. And for Magic and for Bitcoin, and I think what happens is people are so focused on the short sight. They see people getting rich. They see people making money. They see people having things they don't have, and they chase it. They chase it like a dog chasing a bone. I want to be rich. I want that life that I see on Instagram, that I see on Facebook. I want that. It's natural. It's a natural human desire, but you have to understand that usually it's going to take time. And if it doesn't take time, it takes hard work. It's not hard work to buy Bitcoin. I mean, it takes money. Money is hard work, but if you want to buy Bitcoin and you want it to go up, if you want to buy Magic reserveless cards and you want to go up, you don't have to work. That's it. Imagine. You don't have to work at all. You just leave it alone forever. Ignore the spikes. Ignore the swings. Ignore the downs. Ignore what the naysayers and the sky is falling conspiracy theorists say. You buy it and you leave it alone. And two things I think are too big to fail almost are Bitcoin and the reserve list. Magic reserve list. As it grows bigger, as things get more expensive, it's even further off in the distance that Wizards is going to touch it, reprint it, do anything to upset that balance. It's 572 cards. They're not doing anything about. Okay, they can make a tapped Gaia's Cradle. They could make a Gaia's Cradle that adds a green -1 creature. They could make a Gaia's Cradle that's fetchable and comes into play tapped. They could make it cost 3 mana, call it Growing Rights of Itlimoc, and make it trigger at the end of turn. Like, they could do lots of different things, but they can't reprint Gaia's Cradle. It's not going to happen. And thinking it will happen, or wishing that it will happen, doesn't change reality. The same way you can't go back and wish you bought Bitcoin in 2012, the same thing goes with Magic cards. So I personally am a big fan of the long-term store of value. I think that if you have enough of it, you can, live off of it. You have financial freedom. You have security. It's like buying your own insurance. You have to have patience. You have to have, determination. You have to have, a lot of conviction, willpower, but because it's tempting. It's tempting to sell it. It's tempting to I could just sell a couple of dual lands and buy a car, or I could put a down payment on a house. Whatever it is, they're two different things. For me personally, if I want to buy something, I will work harder to get it. I won't liquidate my assets. And I think a lot of people get stuck in that mentality. So back more on to Bitcoin and and when I say Bitcoin, I really mean just Bitcoin, BTC. Not any of the other cryptocurrencies, because none of them have that scarcity asset the same way that Bitcoin does. So I think that it's easy to look at other ones, Ethereum or whatever one's flavor of the week is. It reminds me a little bit about which Magic cards are going to spike. Which of these cards? Oh, Goblin Rabblemaster. I knew it was going to be a $5 card. I pre-ordered them all at 50 cents. Great. That's good. That's good. And for every one of those, there's 10 times where you order something or you invest in something or speculate on something that is, it's no good. It goes, you take a bath. So I think that you don't really hear about those either. People don't really, laud their misfortunes or their poor investments, because nobody wants to look stupid, And I think that Bitcoin is incredibly difficult to understand, but once you do understand it, once you've done a little bit of research into it, it makes a lot of sense, and it's a lot of similarities to the reserve list. Even the coming down to the non-believers and the naysayers, a lot of times people get that jealousy that I wish I had it, it's in a bubble, it's gonna go down, do you really think that? Do you really think that Bitcoin is in a bubble, that it's too expensive right now? Do you really think that Gaia's Cradle is just astronomically priced and nobody is going to pay that price for it in the future? The thing is that if they go down too much, people are just going to buy them. I've been buying reserve list cards, and I plan to buy some Bitcoin at these all-time highs. At the all-time highs on some of these cards. It's hard, and it's hard to do. It doesn't feel good because you kind of got it for cheaper. I had the money. Why didn't I just buy Gilded Drake at $60? I had some money. I heard about a Bitcoin. Why didn't I just buy it at $11K? I'd have 4 of them right now for the price of 1. 5 of them. It's people really bring their emotions into it, and it's really hard to detach it. So just a side piece of advice. I recommend buying old Magic cards, reserve list, alpha, beta, unlimited, graded, Magic artwork if you can afford it and get a good price, and Bitcoin. I think that they are ridiculously safe, and they are far less volatile than something like the US dollar. And when you see the prices and you see those charts and you see people, you hear chatter about it, it's all a bunch of it's kind of like I don't know what the word it's like. I don't know. It's the sham. I think the scam, the real, scheme is the people that are just saying out of nowhere or what they feel, or they say with no conviction or no research or no backup data. They say with nothing. They just say things like, "Oh, it's too expensive. Oh, don't invest in Bitcoin. Oh, it's already too expensive." Trust me, they're not too expensive. They're going to go up. How much and when isn't necessarily even a question you should ask. It's just, it is what it is, and you can take it or leave it. As cheesy and simple as that sounds, it's just, I those are my two recommendations. Old Magic cards, Bitcoin. They are the new standard of things. So what are your thoughts? Leave your comments. I'm sure it's a pretty hot topic in general. People have a lot of opinions, and I'd love to hear them. So leave a comment. Thanks for watching.